Hello, it's Paul here, Happy Me Creative. I want to give you a really quick video explaining what YouTube is looking at in your videos and how you can make them better, how you can make YouTube love your content more, and try and understand what YouTube's looking for. So first and foremost, when the biggest stat to start with, that when YouTube is looking to share your video, how many people are clicking on your thumbnail to open your video. Right, I'm not going to talk to you about how to make your thumbnail better. I'm not artistic enough to know anything about that. But the average click-through rate is between 2% and 10% on most people's videos. So what happens when you've got a click? We're going to talk about title in a second. But what happens to your video when people click it? And how do we know YouTube are going to love it? So, if you go into your video, into your analytics, you will have a retention graph underneath your analytics. It's kind of new. So up the side is the percentage of people watching. Obviously the top's 100%, all the way down to 0. And the video time down is the length of the video, right? So we've got the graph. Watch time, 100% to start with. And we're going to say this is a 10-minute long video. So this is what yours would look like if it was a 10-minute long video. And the first thing we're going to talk about is what happens when somebody clicks it. What's the most important part of the click? This part here. What is this part here? The first 30 seconds. It's your intro. How fast is your intro? Are you getting on with the video? Are you telling people what they need? And what happens with the retention rate if you don't? So let's go through a bad video first, a bad video example first, and then we'll talk about a good looking retention rate. So you kind of mess about in the intro and your video starts off like this. You've lost 50% of the people in the first 30 seconds. Maybe it's because you've got a clickbait title that has nothing to do with the video. Maybe you've just dragged it in. Maybe you've asked them to subscribe straight away. Now your video keeps losing people, but then it takes a bit of an upturn. Now what is the upturn? People have come to this section of your video 2.5 minutes in. Well, it's probably what they came for. And if they've shared it with their friends, they might have said, jump to 2.5 minutes, that's what you came for. Have you ever seen in the comments that, somebody might put a timestamp and say, this is what you came for? You'll see on news articles, guy kicks off at so-and-so, but then they do a 10-minute interview. But somebody will say, jump to 7 minutes in, that's where it is. So you might get a bit of an upturn. Then what you'll find is there might be a downturn. So what is this? What is this downturn? What is this here? What happens here? Multiple reasons why you might get a spike up and a complete drop off. So these are the things that YouTube are looking at. If you look at your stats, you might see subscribe, sponsor, name a price, or a mid-roll ad drops in. So you might be saying at this point, if you could subscribe to my channel, it would be awesome. Or this is a message from my sponsor. Or if you're reviewing a product, you might have just told them what price it is. You drop off, people leave. It happens. And finally, your hardcore follower subscribers may, and some will stay to the very end. So that's obviously, if you look at that graph, that decline, 100% to start, down to 0. YouTube's not fallen in love with that stat, are they? Not that trend line. YouTube are not going, let's keep promoting this video, let's keep promoting this content when you lose half the people in the first 30 seconds. So let's obviously look at an excellent trend line, an excellent retention line, and how you can work out how to get something like it. So obviously when they first come in, you don't get as much. Your intro's better, and then you're pretty much flat. It's a flat table. It's a tabletop effect, and then you might have a few people drop off at the end because you might be talking about your next video, or they've got what they came for and they've left. So YouTube looks at that green line and goes, wow, people are loving this video. It might be a bit closer to the 60 rather than 75. I just wanted to keep it away from that red line. But YouTube are now saying this person keeps people on YouTube, keeps them entertained for 10 minutes, and most people stay to the very end. That's top channels, your Mr. Beast, your Dude Perfects. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but big retention, keeping retention, right? This is what YouTube is falling in love with in 2021. Retention, people staying on the video. So how do we get that? What's the formula to get this to work, right? And you're going to hear a lot of people say, you've got to tell a story. No matter what you're doing, whether you're doing a vlog or a product review or, a daily vlog, can you tell a story? And it's people like, oh my God, a 3-part story. How am I going to do that? So let's just talk about it and give you some ideas, right? So first part, Act 1. Sorry, I should have sped this up. Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Like any story, the test of time, every film you've ever watched, every book you've ever read, 3-part stories, 3-act story. So these timelines are not as specific, but we're going to split it up. And we're going to talk about Act 1 being the setup. And what is your video about? What are we going to talk about? What is the concept of the video, right? So that might be a question. So you might be, can I explain how to use YouTube stats in 5 minutes or something like that? Or will this product solve your washing up problem? Can I make a basket from the top of a hotel roof? What is the question? What is that question, right? And is that question the title? Are we talking now that when we were talking about a title before, if we can go into this first act and introduce people, introduce what is going to be the problem, and then we're going to go into try and solve it, or what happens in the introduction, the Act 1, where you introduce whoever's on the video, you introduce whatever the problem is, or whatever the product is you're reviewing, and is that question the title? Right, so is that the title of your video? Can I eat 15 marshmallows in 30 seconds? Whatever it might be. But now you've brought in the setup. Now remember, the first 30 seconds is the most important when somebody first clicks. So can you jump into it? Mr. Beast will go, in this video, and then he'll show you. Other people will show something else. They will show in this first 30 seconds, they might show some teasers, some clips of highlights of the vlog later on. So we know the title is, can I make a basketball shot from the top of a hotel roof? You might tease with a few clips of throwing it off the roof, right? Or doing something like that. So we know that the intro and the setup is what is the video going to be about. So now obviously we understand that the second part is going to be that confrontation or the research or whatever the title was. Act 2 is you trying to get through to that. Act 2 is trying to get it working, to get it done. I'm trying to make a basketball shot. Now we've got to get on the roof. We've got to set the basketball up. We've got to make sure everybody's safe. We've got to get ready with the cameras. We've got to all these things in the confrontation. Whatever the title has gone, you've now in your confrontation setting. You're gonna keep them in that middle part, in that big chunk of it. How is it going, good or bad? And then finally, obviously, the resolution, the conclusion. How does it turn out? So you want people to come in, the question, see the confrontation, and then stick around to the end to see if you made it or not. Can you keep them to the very end of this story and keep it interesting to say, this is what we're going to do. This is us trying to do it, and this is our conclusion. It doesn't matter if you don't make the shot. In fact, it might even be better if you miss it. Try it 1,000 times and miss it. But that is the basic part of retention within YouTube. People coming in. Just imagine you're a computer and you're trying to work out, you've got all these videos in front of you and you've got to analyse which one's the best. The ones with that green line, thumbnail, if that's up 10-15%, if you can sort your thumbnail out and now you've got a decent title because it's that question in Act 1, people come in, they don't drop off straight away. You don't see a massive decline because your video's nothing to do with the thumbnail or the title. You give them a nice quick intro, you delve into the problems, and you get that Act 1 in and on and done out of the way. Dive into Act 2, do the research, do the confrontation, do the nuts and bolts of the story, build the tension, build up tension going into Act 3, and Act 3 releases the tension. Did you make it? Did you not? Is the product worth buying? Is it not? Did it make you happy or meet your expectation? And you're done. But hopefully this makes sense at least of the retention graph, which is the most important factor currently in YouTube videos. It isn't likes and dislikes. It isn't comments anymore. A couple of years ago, engagement was a big start. But now a lot of people are watching YouTube videos on TVs, on PlayStations, on devices where commenting isn't that easy. So keep an eye on your retention, keep an eye on your dips and your falls and maybe even your rises. See, where are people dropping off your videos? Where are people clicking? Right, I've had enough. Is it when they say subscribe? Is it when you say sponsor? Here's my sponsor. A lot of people do their sponsors in the Act 1, which I think is crazy. So many videos showed the sponsor straight away and I just want to turn off. Nail down your setup, nail down your intro, and you'll be flying. Hope this helped. If you're still here, a subscribe would be amazing. Share it with your friends, anybody else who needs some YouTube advice. That's what the Happy Me Creative is for. Keep creating, keep doing your videos, keep learning the craft of YouTube, and you will get there, you'll get to success, and your channel will explode. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Ciao.